What's going on, everybody? Back at it again with another video, and this time with the rumblings in the back room or the locker room, however you want to put it, it seems as if Madden will be taking the exact same approach that they've taken this year, which brings me to a precedent that we will be seeing a lot of formations nerfed. Now, EA does believe that their zones play a lot better. Now, with the exception of the matching concept, which they should work out the kinks with next year, expect to see the exact same concepts, but you're probably going to see a little bit more of the actual plays nerfed. Now, what that means, like when you say, well, what do you mean, Trey? What do you mean by plays being nerfed? Like, how do they nerf plays? Well, you can see next year that crossing routes may not get the depth that they're supposed to get. Like, you may see a crossing route next year. Take a look at this crossing route. Like, like Randy Moss's crossing route. It may be a little bit less deeper next year, and then guys might not be able to get into the sweet spots or the soft spots of those zones like so. You may actually run directly into a cornerback next year with that. The bunch plays may be nerfed dramatically. They may nerf the life out of bunch. Bunch may not be as deadly as it is next year. So a lot of these deep crossing routes, and let's take a look at some of this stuff right here, like verticals. The verticals play was considered to be one of the best plays in the game if you could set it up so like you could just put this guy out here and in a certain type of zone, there's no way they can catch you, and you could just dot certain areas up on the field. So expect that to be nerfed. Expect the deep post route to be nerfed next year. Expect, instead of going to the right way of doing it, as I may say, the right way of fixing the game would be make the zones play better. But EA, as we found out this year, they would rather remove stuff, and when they removed the contains, it did make the game a little bit better. So let me be totally honest with you on the contain thing. If 335 contains were left in the game, if contain blitzes were left in the game, a lot of offenses that you guys are able to use now, you wouldn't have been able to use with that patch in the game. You would not have been able to use those offenses, those offensive plays. Because from what they said, it seemed like the contains actually would destroy certain formations and make it a little hard for you to run certain things. And that was the biggest thing to the game, was that they felt you can't contain Michael Vick, but they also opened up the offensive playbook for some people. This is why, things like right there, spread is able to be used. You could not use spread with the 335 odd blitz. You couldn't use spread with the contain blitzes because it just basically confused them, because they were so spread out that you would always get one-on-one matchups, and then that guy would just sneak right on by. And that was the biggest issue with the contains back then. But the next thing you can see coming, real player motion will be removed from the game. Real player motion was bad. It was really bad. So that's the best thing that I want to put out there, is that real player motion will be gone. They may actually come up with a new type of real player motion, but it may not be real player motion. I'm expecting them to go back to Madden 16 run style, where you just actually use your ability to get to the outside and stuff of that nature. There aren't many jukes and stuff like that, but the double juke was dangerous. The spin move was so. If you caught a person over pursuing so hard that you could spin them, that was amazing, and it made a great highlight video. Next, no one really cares about long shot. Long shot was okay, but it wasn't the most amazing thing in the world. But long shot will be gone, if you guys wanted to know about that one. Long shot is now out of the game. It's no longer going to be here. The campaign mode or the story mode will be in the game. I'm not too sure that you won't be able to be another player. I think it's basically a quarterback right now. So that might all be you might be getting. So the pump fake mechanic, from what I'm hearing, it might be a slim chance that the pump fake mechanic is going to be the main driving factor of the game next year. The bad part is what they're saying is that the pump fake mechanic is a little bit buggy, because when you pump fake, you make certain people jump. Now, the basis of that pump fake was that it did make. One time they did it, and it was on like a certain play. They pump fake, the safety jump, the D tackle jump, the D end jumped. Not something that you want in this type of situation. You don't want all those guys jumping, but that's what happened. Oh my God, I like that stock play. Oh, I like that. But you guys, the next thing that I'm gonna put out there is that expect a lot of plays to either be nerfed or removed. And I hate to say this, but next year, bunch might have players removed. We may actually lose crossfire. We may actually lose a lot of defensive plays that they don't know how to stop. Now, that may be that might not be bad on the defensive side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, expect a lot of plays to be removed or nerfed. I'm expecting them to be removed. I'm not too sure they're going to be nerfed, but I am sure they're going to be like toned down. The play arts is going to change next year. That's one of the biggest things to the game, is that the play art is really going to change next year. You may get situations where last year your post was deeper. This year your post is going to be shorter. EA is really getting used to this entirely new situation where instead of fixing the zones, they're basically going to make the routes different. So next year on like Pat's curl flat, that post route has already been said it's going to be shorter. Because if you notice, that post route not only gets behind every zone in the game, that post route is really unstoppable with the way that their zones are set up. That's one of the reasons they're going to nerf that. Next year, the crossing route, the depth of the crossing routes will be shortened so that they can run into zones. I know it doesn't make much sense. Like, hey, why would they make a receiver run into the zone? Well, EA has found out that it's a lot easier to remove something or change something than to fix something. If that makes any sense to you guys. So I don't know how they're going to go about it, but if I can actually go to one of these plays, let me show you right here. So let's go to Deuce Close. If the play is in here, look at bench. I want you to look at bench. Do you see how these post routes are? So next year, those post routes, take a look at how it works for you. Now, do you see how he's able to get into a sweet spot or a soft spot? Let me see what's that. That was a cover 2. Now, with the cover 2 being like that, shouldn't he have been able to just like, you know, bail back there? Like, he should have been able to bail back there. Oh, man. He should have been able to bail back there and make a play on that ball, but he wasn't. So here was the killer thing about that. They want to make it where everybody can have fun in the game. That might be the biggest issue with EA, is that they're leaning more toward casual players than they are leaning toward hardcore players. The biggest and the slightest problem that a lot of people are going to have is that they're not going to fix the zones. They're basically going to change the routes. With real player motion, next year, you should be able to burn people. They're removing real player motion. So the biggest gripe with real player motion was that you slowed down as you caught a ball in stride. Next year, that should be gone. I could say Madden 16 or maybe Madden 25 running style may return. I don't know. I haven't heard the exact details on what exactly they're going to do. They don't even know yet. So they're basically to a point where they're just like, hey, we have no idea what we're going to do when we get this situation cracking. But my biggest issue with that is that they have no idea what they're going to... Wait a minute. What happened to my... Maybe they're in my binder. I'm looking for... I was about to... Oh, my God. I'm about to spaz out. I'm looking for my doggone people. My draft picks. Maybe we should do a draft pick, but I don't know. But... And next year, expect a lot of different changes to the training point system. The training point system basically broke. It was broken. So they technically don't feel like the training point system is as good at its current state, because you got to think about it, like nobody was really buying limited edition, limited time players, because it was kind of stupid to buy a limited time player unless you're doing gameplay and stuff like that, because the limited time player was a lot easier to get if you just waited the week. Now, also, they're also looking at changing the chem system. The chem system was the best that it's ever been this year. But hey, let's say you go 50-50 Falcons. You don't need another Michael Vick right now. You don't need to update your Michael Vick at all. Your Michael Vick could basically be the 99 goal Michael Vick, as without even putting in the 99, the Ultimate Legend Michael Vick. You could have him by just chemming up a Falcons team. So technically it did make things a lot better, but EA found out that they lost out on that little situation. They lost out dramatically. So next year, expect the training point system to change. I don't think we're going to have limited time players going for that price anymore. They're not going to quick sell, and training points will basically, it will be a base of players, but they're trying to go into a different route. Something that will basically make you want to purchase players. Like, not just be like, oh, I have a 99 overall squad and nobody else does. Like, they're really trying to get money out of our pockets. I don't know how it's going to work for them, but I believe the chemistry system is better. The chemistry system is definitely going to take a turn next year. It's going to be 10 times better, they say, but beware of the team chems and stuff like that. They may actually revamp it to where it's bad. And then with real player motion going out, I can honestly just say that right now we're going to wrap it up, but real player motion is going to be removed. Plays are going to be nerfed. Zones won't be touched, because they believe the zones will play if the routes were changed and the routes looked a little bit differently. Why, I don't know. Long shot is gone. Long shot is out. The new player, my player, I think it's called my player, I'm not too sure. The new my player situation will be coming in and taking over in that place. And the bad part is, you guys, I know it may not sound good right now, but there may be a slim chance that in order to upgrade players, this might be what you're doing. You may click the player and see all of these things, and that's how you upgrade him. So you're basically going to be grinding next year. Like, don't quote me on this, but let's say you get Michael Vick. You may have to throw for 300 touchdowns. You may have to run for 50. You may have to rush for 1,000 yards just to get his next upgrade. Like, you know, hey, if you don't complete these situations, you may actually have a situation where they have a game where you have to throw. Now, this was just thrown in there where they be like, okay, you can bypass all of these if you do an ultimate goal. Now, an ultimate goal might be something like, okay, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, or reenact one of his best games, something like that, and you can bypass all of these. But we'll get into that another time. You guys have a good one. Catch you next time. Sorry the video was so long, but I figured I'd get this one out there before I jump on and do some weekend league tonight.